that brand has decided to let us do a giveaway for you guys, for our listeners. Welcome to the Insiders Podcast. We're back. Another episode. We've got some exciting things to kick this episode off.
Huge.
I'm not going to beat around the bush. We're going to dive straight in. We've spoken about some of our favourite wetsuit brands, and it's been no secret. Darren's been sent a couple of Need Essential suits in the winter. Absolutely loves them, core as they come. And I was sent some Volcom suits. Absolutely love them, core as they come. And a couple that we both have are from a crazy good brand. And that brand has decided to let us do a giveaway for you guys, for our listeners. So Vissla are doing a giveaway with the Insiders. We can give away, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Daz, a 7Cs 3-2 full wetsuit. And all you need to do is like the Instagram post for this podcast, follow the Insiders, and comment 3 of your friends on that post. And you'll be
comment them, like, do you put a little at Joe Blog, at the Queen, at Beyonce, Mick Fanning, and I'm going to put Rihanna. Can I win?
That's it. And then she might win it, and she would get a Vissla wetsuit, and she'd be stoked.
Is that a conflict of interest if I win
it? Maybe, but if your mysteriously twin brother, who's called Baron Dordbridge, Boris wins it, then that's not. That would just be a massive.
Look, listeners, get on, do it, and you're going to win a wetsuit. It's a supple neoprene, isn't it?
It's like crazy flexible.
Is it? It's politically incorrect to say it's as smooth as a baby's bum.
No,
it's as smooth as the fur on the back of a bee.
Exactly. And also they are durable as well. Like I've got a Vissla 3-2 7C, and it's 3 years old now. It's going into its 3rd year, and it's like
no sick wetsuit, Matt. Thank you very much, Vissla. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Vissla.
Thanks, Vissla. And get involved. Get on the giveaway.
And good luck to you, winners.
We'll pick, and then we'll pick. And
you've got multiple personalities, winners.
Yeah, and we'll pick the winner, and we'll announce it on Instagram and on a podcast. So,
so let's dive back into what we are a podcast about stuff. We're not just a giveaway company, Matt. We've got an amazing guest tonight.
Yeah, sick guest. And let's be real, we've done the interview, and this is our intro to it. And I have to say, this is one of the best conversations I think we've had on the poddy. I was so intrigued, and I think this guest was so informative and cool, and real core as well. I love that word, and I really, really enjoyed this chat. So introduce him, tell us about him, because you know him very well.
Okay, so listeners, Didier Piter is one of France's original pro surfers, kind of like in the 90s when surfing was kicking off. Diddy was actually born and grew up in Senegal, believe it or not.
Wow.
There's a bunch of young, it's a French colony. And then I think he moved to France in his late teens or early teens. Really talented, goofy footer. And then when I moved to France, I started seeing him in surf magazines. So that would have been in 98, 99. And then I remember starting work at Quicksilver, and I remember he got sponsored by Gotcha, which was under the Quicksilver umbrella.
Sick brand.
And then I started seeing him down at headquarters, and then seeing him in big barrels at Le Gravier. I think he's probably one of the all-time greats of Le Grave, which is a pretty big call because there's been a fair few. Then on the way to work one day, I remember hearing he made the semis at Pipe, 1 year.
Man.
It was when they had a few invitations, and you could you could get in there. So he won the semi. So he's a pretty good barrel rider. And then when I bought my house, he kind of lived around the corner. So we used to walk past each other. His youngest child, which is his son, Sam, was going to the same school as my son for that brief period. But then he sold his house to move down there. He lives down near Fipsy.
Yeah.
From there, he continued to be sponsored for a fair few years, and then switched into coaching. I think he told us as well he was in the French team for maybe 13 years.
Yeah.
Went to all the ISA games, so he's done all that stuff before. Then he got into coaching, coached a lot of really good surfers, Joan Duru, Mark Lacamar, and then his son, who's probably one of Europe's brightest prospects at the moment. I think he's like 20, Sam. Incredibly technical, stylish, goofy footer who I surfed with like yesterday, man. He was busting fins and was 4 or 5 foot. Like
he released
really
a sick edit as well. Like a couple of months ago, Sam released a sick edit.
And yeah, just a great guy. And then he opened up a surf school, high-end coaching school on the beach at Kunu, one of our most famous and high-performance beaches. And we've just always been mates. And I said to him, hey, would you come on the podcast? And we were really lucky he did. And like what Matt said, it kind of felt like we could have nearly just kept going on forever
100%.
on that podcast because there's a lot to unpack, huh?
Yeah, we literally, like, towards the end of it, we started talking about the top 5 and the WSL and Stab in the Dark, and like, I was like, this is gonna be 4 hours.
But true to insider authenticity, is I only want to talk about what's going on now in the world. I get a bit stressed talking about the past. I write about the past. But if you're talking to someone, I'd rather know what they're doing now than, hey, what was it back in the day, man?
Mm-hmm.
And right now he's coaching the German team, and they're going to the ISAs, and their leading surfer Leon last time made the final and qualified for the Olympics. So he's kind of in a really good spot.
Yeah, it was sick. He's on his way there. I guess without any further ado,
let's listen.
This is Didier talking to the insiders.
Good evening, surprise guest.
How are you guys?
Piter.
What's up?
How are you?
Ça va? All good?
I'll introduce you to my esteemed colleague, Matthew.
Evening.
Hello, Matthew. How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. Where are you? Like, you look like you're in a city apartment, like when I used to be in Paris, like under the roofs.
That's exactly where I am. I live in a top floor apartment in the south of England. Yeah. So
good.
That's exactly. It's good eye, because that's exactly where I am.
Matthew, I was in the 6th floor in Paris when I was a student. I remember exactly. That remind me that. So
with the Velux. Matthew's one of Europe's leading surfboard salesmen, Didier.
Oh, cool.
All day, every day.
Cool,
selling surfboards to people like your
to the city guys.
Yeah, to anyone and everyone.
So we've already done a small introduction on who you are, and I've said a lot of really, really good things about you, Didier. So we'll kick right off. I got one question which I'm still not 100% sure about. Are you coaching or assistant coaching the German team? Is that correct?
I am the federal coach of Surf Germany, so I'm actually in charge of managing the whole coaching team and a bit of strategy as well with the sports director. So it would be the equivalent of a national coach in French. I don't know you call it, or the head coach. Yeah, the head coach was a bit more of a strategic, general strategic involvements.
How many like athletes in the team that you're encompassing then?
We got 11 to 12 athletes in the squads. We have different squads. So there's the perspective squads, is the squad that's more close to the Olympic dream, where we put a lot of focus on them, especially years where there's the Olympics coming up next year in Paris, Chopo.
Yeah.
And there's also the junior squads, and there's different squads basically. So all in all, we have about 9 athletes that are right now subject to qualifying, that we have eyes on putting into the Olympic qualification. So that's where we're at.
I have a couple of really good friends who have just made their way to the ISA games. Are you
Right.
are you heading there? Are you going to be?
Yes.
Are you part? Yeah, you are. Yeah.
We've been going 3 times. I don't think there's any team that has gone more than the team Germany to El Salvador. But it was what the recipe for success when Leon Glatzer qualified 2 years ago. We went many times. He went many times, and at the end, it's a spot where he got his marks, and that's exactly what we wanted to do this time. Put everybody in tune, far from the event when there's a lot of waves to catch, and also doing different works. Each time was a different goal, So the first time was really to fine tune a lot of their surfing skills, and the last time we came was about competition skills and a lot of constraints, a lot of drills, a lot of pressure. So they aided us the last time, and but I think it was a really good. The both camps were really cool. They were super exhausted the last time and we went to the limits, but it's exactly why now we're gonna go the 3rd time, and hopefully we're ready. I can say they're ready. Yeah.
Yeah.
What wave is it? Is it the same wave that it was last time when Leon made the final?
Yes, La Bocana. It's a left. There's also a backup spot, like where they do the 2 podiums. The repechage heats mostly, and but they could decide that it's the main podium. It depends on the size of the swell and the conditions. One spot can be better than the other, but in the last time was more Bocana, more performance, more right and left, and where Leon could do airs. When the other spot El Sunzal is more cutback wave. It's you would love it actually, Daz, because it's a it's like a Lanor style of wave when it's big, and it's also. They compare it to Sunset Beach as well, but it's kind of fast and tricky. But I love this kind of wave because it comes to awareness of decisions, connection to the spot, and that it's also where we can get an edge as well when we surf, when we compete, and we can beat. Basically, anyone can beat anyone in that spot when you're on the right waves or not, So it comes to this in El Sunzal.
How far is that wave then from where they run the WCT event?
It's about a 15-minute drive.
Okay.
Yeah, that spot is crazy. Punta Roca. It's really good. But I don't think they could bring the ISA there because there's so many people in the event, and it would be too far from the backup spots, like for the teams to handle the repechage hits and walk from one podium to the other. But I think it's really performance wave. And
have you surfed that spot?
Sorry?
Have you surfed that spot?
I did, and I coached there the boys, and it's really, really cool. Yeah, like but you've seen it last year. They were not really lucky, except that one day, one afternoon, when Griffin and what's his name? Kanoa got that hit,
Yeah.
But it can be really good. Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, but Leo made a really good film years ago when he was younger. I think it was like Coming of Age or something. And him and Zeke surfed a right-hander. Is that the same spot?
I can't tell you, man.
You can't remember? It was
pumping. I have a feeling I saw that thing of Leo when he was younger, but I can't tell you because there's so many rides. Actually, there's 3 or 4 really good point breaks over there. So
So it's
as
a
far as
really
I
good,
know, but
it's
there
a good
might be
spot for
more.
a surf trip. Hmm?
Yeah, yeah. It used to be kind of sketchy in terms of security, but I think things have gone way, way better and way safer lately. And obviously, they organize events there, and we could say it's a safe place. I haven't moved around in the country, but once you're there in front of your spot and you have that, it's called Surf City. There's a like 15 Ks of different surf spots where it's kind of super safe there. Like I would say now it's pretty safe to go.
Is
Yeah.
it like heavily US influenced?
Yes, it's dollars, like
Yeah,
you pay
yeah.
dollars, and a lot of people from, yeah, you could say it's heavily influenced by US.
Lots of gringos.
Yeah, they're
Back
everywhere.
back to the comps. One of the things that I kind of, when I first like started paying more attention to ISA games and stuff, is that you mentioned as well, is the repechage heats and things like that. Did it take you a while to kind of get your head around? Because to me, when I watch the ISA games, it seems like there's about 1 million heats.
Right.
How is that adjusting, and how is it like getting the servers to adjust to like the repecharges and
It's actually a good question. Like repechage is well, you enter the event and you seem to have plenty of time and a paved way, like, but and you feel that you have your second chance. You know you have your second chance. So people people do their hits, and but once they lose, it becomes the trenches war. You know, it becomes a there's days where you basically have 6 hits to do if you want to survive, or I mean 5 hits at least, you know. I wouldn't say 6, but the Friday of the event or the Thursday, it's like rep 4, rep 5, rep 6, rep 7, rep 8 or something like that. It's and you don't have time to rest. So it comes to the mindset and being ready to dig deep and still believing in that pathway, which is some people are just giving up, you know. They see an easy way on the main, and then they go to the repos and they have 10 more hits to make the final.
yeah,
But there's actually one guy that won losing first round. It happened a couple times. One guy who lost first round and went through 12 or 11 hits to win the event. So
God,
yeah,
that's mad.
12 hits I think it was. So
So
it
did
comes
you?
to the belief and the self-belief, the mindset, and obviously the coaching team around you, and or you see things, and you know some people have that survival instinct, and they make it super good in the repechage. They click, and some people are kind of sleepy on the main round, and then they reveal themselves when they have to be against the wall.
Yeah.
And it happened a few times where you see that switch. Yeah.
What's the like German sporting? How do I say this? Awareness like, because surely over history they're not a renowned surfing country, but when it comes to high performance sport, they've got to be in the top 3 or 4 in the world. So is the infrastructure above you must be incredibly professional?
Oh my God. I think, you know, I've worked for a different federation, obviously the French Federation, which is well organized, well supported. But I have to say, in terms of support to athletes, the DVV, the Dutch Wellenreiter Verband, I don't pronounce it well, but it's the German federation with the committee, the Olympic committee behind. It's because of the support of the Olympic committee. They really believe, and they've seen some recent results with the Leon's qualification, some gold medals from the girls back when they were juniors. And that support is amazing. But back to the athletes support, I don't think there's any. It's in the top for sure, as you said, because whatever they need, they will get. You know, like in terms of they have backup in terms of psychological support. You know, if they need, if there's any injury, there will be something organized for them back in Germany. There is the board support, the competition support with the coaching. They hire some people like me, or they try to get the best support ever, like for the best possible support for the team. And
Travel
we have a sport
costs?
director that manages that everything clicks together. So it's well organized. The sport is well organized. Of course, the German style.
Yeah.
I'm just happy that they get that support, and because it really makes a difference at the end. Like when they feel confident because of it, and they get to work, and they get their way through, and they become super professional. They already, in general, the Germans are known for being super rigorous, but also with that support, they get to everybody seem to get to maximize their potential for sure.
Who's your leading female surfer?
Actually, right now it's Rachel Presti. Rachel Presti, she grew up in Florida, and she was a gold medalist when she was junior for Germany in Huntington Beach. And last year she had the best result from the team. She finished 8th at the just before the final, actually, through the repechage. She finished 8th, and she's very consistent. She's a super she's that kind of girl that has the survival instinct when she needs it, what I was mentioning. And but we also have Noah Clapp, who's much younger. She just turned, I think, she's turning 20 this year. But Noah has got something. When she's on, she could beat any girl on the city. But on her backside, I would say she would challenge. She would challenge a lot of girls when she's on, and she has the right wave on her backside. A lot of things to work
like Caroline Marks or something.
Something like that, yeah. She has a lot to learn, of course, and in terms of awareness, in terms of adaptability to different scenarios and waves. But when everything clicks and it corresponds to her, she will get high scores. Yeah.
And she's living in California, isn't she? Because I met her
Grew up
last
in
year.
Like she was in Malibu, and she grew up in different places, but her surfing DNA, I think it's California, mostly. And also, like, now she's in San Clemente. She moved down, but she's a citizen of the world. She travels a lot. She's easy. She feels free. She feels happy everywhere she is. I think that's what I see from her. So,
and on the male side, obviously Leon. Did you know Leon from when you were you at Volcom still when he was there?
Yeah, I met him when he was 15. He came from his tropical paradise straight to the Volcom house in Osogor in summer. Imagine, but wow, he's the kind of guy that has that amazing adaptability, I would say.
And he wants to win.
He's got some instinct, and he learned something on himself when he was 12. He started late. He was a city boy in San Jose, and he started surfing, but just with a skate vision. That's why he did so many airs, and he didn't have any lines or anything. But when he came to Osogor, I started talking to him about the roundhouse cutback, and he still mentions it. Took years for him to understand, but doing 9s every event on airs and still having to work on the basics. And now, I mean, with what he accomplished and at the Olympics, the mind that he has now, the athletes that he's become, I mean, I can't say that like Leon is an amazing surfer, right? And at the last ISA, when he decided that he would start boosting airs, like not the last one, the one in Salvador, the day he was sure to be qualified, we told him, okay, now you're qualified, so it's time to show you who you are, your air game. And the next day he posted the highest total of the all events. He was sick, and he posted a 9.7 and backed it up with 8. He had the highest total. And when, like, I remember Chris Cote on the live, like, wow, everybody.
Who is this guy?
Impression. when he wants, he can deliver, especially in those waves that suits his surfing, where he can express his.
Johan won that one, didn't he? Johan Duru.
Yeah.
Yeah, Johan won and didn't go to the Olympics.
Didn't go. Yeah, didn't go.
That was a crazy event.
And they're both full on ex-Volcom riders.
Yeah.
There was something in the water at Volcom.
But that was funny because all the event people were saying, we're gonna qualify the Olympians, and the guy that won didn't go. I felt so sorry for Johan. But I hope he gets his chance to be selected in the French team this year and gets to go to Salvador again.
Yeah.
Did you watch any of the event at Sydney over the last few days? You see how good the French team's going.
Yeah, because it was looking like France actually, like sort of capricious shore break with a lot of closeout, but few good ones. And the French are really good when it comes to knowing which one will open, and selecting the wave. So because that's our everyday bread, and they're doing good. And I think Marco Mino is still in.
Yeah,
I would put my money on Marco if it gets small and there's some air sections. Watch out.
It's meant to be big now, isn't it? It's meant to be a big swell.
It's meant to. I didn't watch.
But
so he's got a boost. I think now Marco, it's like when he won the European title last month. He secured this spot, and then he was more going for the title. And his coach Jason is an amazing coach, and he told him, "Okay, God gave you wings. Now it's time to fly for the final." And that's all he did. He started doing. He had eight airs in the final, and then he had 7 airs throwaways or something like that, and he still and he won the title. Yeah. So
I met him when he first signed with Quicksilver, because he must have only been 12 or 13, and his dad flew over from Mexico with him to sign with Quicksilver because they had French blood. And and I remember the day after, I think Flores came into the factory, and I was going, "Oh, you see that little French kid that they just signed?" And Jeremy was going, "Yeah, but he can't do a cutback. He can only do airs." And I said, "That's all they want. That's all they need to do these days, nearly."
Yeah, I
mean, but now he can do cutbacks.
I mean, he would have to adjust. He would his cutback and his rail game, especially. It's got better, but hopefully qualifies for the city, but he's gonna need some adjustments there, to be as sharp as the other dudes, super sharp on the rail, and he's got some room for progression. Of course, he's so gifted, but I think I can relate to what Jeremy said, to being more tilted on the edge, more sharp on his rail turns. I definitely see Marco being sharper on rail as well. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask that Daz, recently the UK surf team went and stayed with Daz, and it's not easy ever, but it's quite easy for the UK team, because they're all UK surfers, actually all from kind of the southwest as well, to get them all to be at an airport and then fly for a training camp, say for example in Hossegor, like they did. How difficult or how easy is it? Because obviously the German team,
everywhere.
Leon, like you say, the 2 girls are States based. Leon's mainly Costa Rica, I believe, and the rest obviously German. It's harder to get waves in Germany than even in England. So how much of a challenge is that for you and for your team?
I mean, so first of all, all our team, we call them the rainbow team, because they come from all different cultures. There's one from Costa Rica, 2 from California, 1 from Canaries, another one from Portugal, a couple from Portugal. They grew up everywhere but Germany, but now things could change. We have a pool coming up in Munich, and I think there's going to be some generations that come from there.
Yeah,
from the Munich pool, straight from the city. There's a big culture there already because of the river, and I could see the older guys, the dads, and starting the adventure there at the pool. You know, I'm sure something will happen, and one kid will come up from that pool all the way through the ocean and then through to the results. But I mean, going back to your question, it's hard. It's hard, but as long as we have the support and the will that we have right now as a federation, we can gather everyone and we can go to different places. And you know, if I have a project and I can speak to my sport director and he says, yeah, let's go. And for example, we want to prepare the next ISAs because there's going to be other spots to get in 2024 before Chopo in Puerto Rico. So that was the one case where I said, hey, we need to go train there, like to prepare that event as well. So I asked him, and even though it's hard, if we have the budget, it's just we have to gather everyone from wherever they are.
Yeah.
But they all have an environment where they could evolve and become who they were because of the surf culture where they were staying. And as I said, it's good, you know, it's not hard. Mm.
So this year's El Salvador. So then next year's Puerto Rico, and next year's the one that's going to count towards Olympic qualification. Yeah,
that's why they did it so early in a place where there would be waves in February. And
that's February.
That's why they do it. It's in July, the Olympics. So
yeah,
that's why they had to do it in a venue like that. And actually, the venue has a spot that looks like Chopo when it's on its days, right? So yeah, we want to go there in November with the team, where to see if it's, you know, if there's going to be those first swells of winter there, and then we can practice hopefully and get ready.
How one question I wanted to ask is, like, say like we think ultra positively and, you know, Germany qualify and get Olympic qualification. How do you then switch to between like qualifying, say for example, in somewhere like El Salvador for a wave like Chopu? Like it, do you know what I mean? It's like a bit like we said about you and Drew. There's been talks about America have already got this. No, sorry, Japan have got the third male spot that they secured, so they can select someone. But for example, like you could be taking someone who's a small wave specialist or someone who excels in small waves, but never surfed a wave like Chopes before.
Depends. Like the last year, the team was granted, I think it was USA at the spot and Japan, as you said.
Yeah.
And they can choose any surfer, even if there was a highest ranked. So let's put it in the case scenario of France, for example. They have that Kaoli Vast guy who lives in Chopo. And I know from behind they're trying their best to have him in the thing. Because he would have to get his spots. They didn't win the team spot, but next year in Puerto Rico, there's going to be a team spot as well to win again. Yeah. So if France's win, they would have a shot to select. So
if you win,
but they have the organization wildcard, and they could say, okay, we give it to Cowley, but they have to justify that from a point of view where there's Maximus Snow is leading. He was in the city. There's really good results right now with Marco Mignot. What do you do with all those guys that are so good? And then, so it's complicated. But the federations can choose if it's that team spot. Otherwise, you have to earn your visa, right? So in the case of Salvador, it's going to be the most the surfer that advance. It will be his spot. We can't say the federation, hey, no, we're not going to take you in.
So it's an individual qualification, correct?
Yes. In the process, there was three ISAs last year in Huntington. The last year in Huntington was giving team spots. Then you would choose whoever rider you want in your country. Like if USA had won, they would have said, okay, we take John, for example. Or but this year it's individual spots. So for us, we're aiming at the highest European ranks. We'll get the spot. So we're gonna the contest is for us against Leo, Portuguese guys, English guys, and that's it. If we place higher than any of those guys, we get the spot.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, got ya.
you know, and then
Spanish.
next year it's a different thing where it's the top 5 of that event plus a team spot, and so it's really a tricky process, but at the end it gives the opportunity to we have a couple opportunities to qualify.
So if the for the team thing next year, so just say German wins that team thing, what does that give you? Does that give you a male and a female athlete, or one of each?
Get up to 2 athletes, so
2 of each. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, each country, like when you have a city guys, like they take, for example, Brazil, they already have 2 guys because they're in the city.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
if France had 2 guys in the city, they would have 2 plus the organization wildcard. So that would be 3. You can go up to 3 if you play well with the system. So yeah, we could, if this year, let's say Leon gets best Euro at the first one, and next year we have another guy that places in the top 5. I think I'd have to double check that, but I think we can get 2 people in.
Yeah.
So this is a incredibly exciting time for you as a surf coach as well, isn't it? Because obviously when you started surf coaching, you know, you'd coach local reppers here at Hossegor, which was already kind of better than other places because you're in European surf capital. But this is kind of like the next step, isn't it? Are you looking? Would your personal goal then be to try and get someone on the CT?
Yes, actually, it was always I coached the kids like Mark Lacomar from Hossegor. I was part of their growth, like Justin Becret, and my son Sam. So I always wish for them to go to the highest potential possible, and I think all of them have the potential to reach that elite level. But it takes more than just my coaching. It takes self-efficacy, self-discipline to create the environment to go all the way up there, and then you know. So, but now with the Team Germany, I'm super excited because I've competed myself, you know, as 14 years for France, and I was always it gave me more strength, more confidence to perform when I was under the flag, you know what I mean? And with the team, with the support, you don't let your brothers down, and you're like, let's go, you know. So it's just me and the way I was raised, and the way I always loved sport, like I don't know. And then when I'm with that team, I really feel we really feel that team vibe. First of all, we're together, and so it's exciting as a coach, you know, to be living that. I was living that as a surfer back then when I was doing the ISA for France, and now living that as a coach. I obviously know from the ISAs because I've been going to a lot of them, so I feel comfortable in it, and I can help, and I can really feel the excitement as well. Yeah.
So when you get there, obviously you must be a good networker at these things because you've been going to them for 25 years. When you go to like an ISA championship, you must know a lot of the old people that are there as well.
Yeah. It's like there's some like guys I met in Puerto Rico when I was in my first ISAs in '87. I think one of the guys is the same guy in the ISA since '87. He's like 10 years older than me or something like that. So yeah. And you see all the guys you used to compete with, some of them are coaches now, and yeah, it's a good vibe. Yeah. Definitely.
That's cool, lads. I have to say that, like you mentioned it as well, but your son, I watched his when was it? It was like around April time, and he'd just dropped a free surf edit, and I watched it with Harry Timpson, and it was mental. It was so good. I can't remember the name of it, but it came out this year.
Yeah, when it was the winter, the pastries, like the French pastries or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and
this winter clip, because we had a crazy winter here. Like when you speak about global warming, there's like those effects where you have sessions Daz can testify, Darren, huh? Like there's been
Yeah.
epic winter. There's only been 2 storms, a lot of offshore days,
Very
for
dry.
non-stop offshore days. Either step off because it was big, or either rippable. And
Yeah.
so
I missed 3 weeks of it because I was in Australia, and like I think
Oh,
it was the first
like
time. Yeah, I think it was
soy,
like
right?
it was one of the first times ever when I've gone back home, and I don't know why. For once, I wasn't stressed about it. You know what it's like when you leave here, and you've had a month of storms or something, and then you go on your surf trip somewhere, and then fire's here. It's a horrible place. It's a horrible place like that here,
Yeah.
because you can leave and then it switches on, and it's kind of
Yeah.
better than where you go on your surf trip to.
Yeah, that's heavy. That's heavy now. Like when you leave that and because of back then we didn't know what we were missing,
Yeah.
or whatever, but now it's terrible. You watch the forecast and you say, can I change my dates or something?
And all of a sudden people just start dropping edits and clips, and you get emails with, oh, look at Hossegor on fire, and like every website's got Hossegor on fire, and you're just going, fuck, what was I doing? Didier, what month of the year were you born in again?
July.
So that's correct. You're 1 month older than me, correct? 1971?
Yes, 7771.
Yes.
How about you?
Yeah, 18th of the 8th, 71.
Summer trouble.
Yes. So there's one for you, Matthew. Every time I think, geez, I'm doing all right for a 51-year-old. If I get a bomb or something, then I see like a clip of Didier drop at Guardian or Kuno where he's in like a 10-foot pipe cabin, and it's just like you get your grass cut a lot by this character. What does it feel like now, Didier? Is what I really wanted to ask you. Where I'm not sure it's actually the case, but where you've got a second alpha male in the house, surf wise, you've gone from being like one of France's first kind of pro surfers, not like the first, but you're in that generation where you got sponsored and were making a living, and now your son actually is doing that same career choice.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot of things, because there was one stage where I was totally backing out, to create the pathway for him. I was, when you're a dad and you feel that there's a moment where, when they're younger, those kids, I really felt I had to be focused on helping him, become a better surfer, and how dads are as well. Like, and I was dedicated to him, and I kind of put myself in the back, for surfing. It was more choosing the spot according to the kid, and I can see now guys like Mickey as well, like pushing his son so much that sometimes he would make a compromise. When you're a surfer, you just think about yourself and you want to surf as much as you can. But when you're a dad surfer, you're like, okay, this kid, he loves surfing, and you want to help him too, right? So that was kind of I don't know if I replied to your question, but now that there was 2 surfers when he was younger, Sam, it was like this. Then we got a few times where we went on a boat, father and son surf trips with a bunch of guys from Osogor or friends or clients, and that was epic. I remember a surf trip where we were all the fathers, and Wilco Prince, his son, Kilian Guerin and his dad, Sam, my friend Jean-Marc and his son, and that was crazy good trip, and anyways, there's those moments, and now Sam is a grown-up, so he doesn't want to surf with his dad anymore.
Really?
He's like surfing with his mates, so but it's just part of a process or something. So, and I'm happy actually, because I recently had a conversation with Sam where he said, I want to do it on my own. He wants to step up, less coaching, less daddy on the back of him, which I can understand for sure. And it's just hard to accept, when it's been your thing, right? So, but I'm seeing the right side of things, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna surf a lot more now.
Yeah.
I can surf now. I don't have that weight on my head where I said, oh, should I coach him? Should I do that training? Or, should I keep the ball rolling, or should I just go surf for myself? Which is cool.
Yeah.
And I've been injured, my knee has been injured. So I'm super eager to surf any conditions. I don't really care. I want any conditions. I'm actually, the harder the better, because it's when the waves are harder to find, and that's when I really like to play that game of finding that exceptional wave in hard conditions.
That's cool.
So what did you do to your knee?
I was running in the shore break the first really cold day of winter. First day I put the 5-3 with the booties. I remember I said to Mickey and Mark Lacomar, I'll be in my wetsuit at crack of dawn, so I really put my wetsuit at home, not to be cold. And at crack of dawn, I got at La Gravière. It was like super foggy. Mickey he said, I'm not out there. And Mark said, okay, I go. And if Mark didn't say I'd go, I would have gone back home, put the wetsuit off. But then I said, I have to go. I'm in wetsuit, And I went, and it was heavy shore break. Kind of, I was out of shape, working so much, not surfing too much. And then I was running in the shore break, and stupidly, I wanted to jump above a wave because I had a wipeout and I didn't really get a nice wave. I said, I'm not coming in without a good wave. It's always like that when I'm surfing. I want to end up with a good wave. So I said, okay, I'm going back out. And I run around and I jump, and the shore break just, as I try to jump, the sand was super soft, and my booties got stuck in the sand, and I went deep. So the wave exploded on my knee, and the ligament got torn, the medium ligament inside the ligament. And that's it. And I've been struggling with that because I didn't do a good rehab the first time. So I went 2 months, 3 days, and then back to injury. So it's been 4 or 5 months now.
No operation?
No, luckily it's not the ACL. I don't know what you call them in English, but I'm lucky it was the ligament that doesn't need surgery. And also I was lucky I've got the guy from the IRM and from the sport facility told me, you're lucky, you have super loose ligaments, super stretched them. Otherwise it would have broken. So
that's good.
I'm old, but I'm flexible.
Hey, I want to ask, because it's something that I froth out on. What boards are you currently riding?
Me? I'm in a trip where I love my twin fin, and I've actually ordered the Big Baron. I don't know.
Yeah, JS. JS Big Baron.
The Midland twin.
Yeah.
From my friend Hervé. And I'm tripping on more boards and more different feelings. I love going to La Nord with my big board. Actually, I'm supposed to order a Morris for La Nord, to have I really want to have new feelings, and I still have my regular short boards when it's barrely or super perfect pockety waves, but I'm more and more into playing with the Twinny or things like that,
Is that a Morris Cole that you're ordering for Le Nord?
Yeah, he's in town actually, but I was so busy with my rehab and setting up the surf school that we've been in touch, and I still haven't. I hope he hasn't left to England, because he told me he's leaving to England soon.
He's coming to see me. Yeah, he's coming to see me. That's I've been surfing 4 Morris boards all winter,
right?
And, because I reached out to him last September, and he said to me, before you start selling my boards, you need to understand them and you need to ride them. So I've had 4 boards from him, and I love them. There's a couple of them.
He's got all these theories recently that I'm excited about. I want that edge. I want to see that edge. If you can get barrel, if I can get in a straight barrel instead of having to do the bottom turn with the big board.
With the hard edge and the reverse V. It's a weird. I had it at I'm not sure if you're familiar with the wave, but in England there's a wave called Croyd, which at low
Yeah.
tide is probably as close as we get to kind of what French waves are like. And I used this, it's a 6-7 twin with a fluted flyer and a really pulled in pinny tail, and it's one of the best boards. And like backside, I was able to I was taking off on closeouts, but you was able to get fully covered up and then just get smashed. And
That's so cool.
it was super fun wave. Morris's boards are amazing.
So what should I ask him? Give me a tip. Tell me.
Yeah, so if you want like a twin fin, but like something like that, yeah, that twinny, the twinny with the fluted flyer V, fluted flyer tail and the pull in with the hard edge the whole way. It's a really, really good board. Like,
All right.
I probably surf. Well, I know I definitely surf nowhere near the same ability that you surf at, but I love it. So I think it's got so much hold. It just doesn't feel like it's ever going to slide out as you're coming down the face. So
I think that's what I need for Lano. As I said, I really want to get in the barrel without having to do that bottom turn setup, old school style.
yeah,
And I think Lano wants you to get in straight, like when it's good those days, the left or even the right, huh?
yeah.
I reckon you need an 8-4.
Sorry?
An 8-4.
Yeah, 8-4 probably. I got a 9-2 from Scalp, and then I got a 7-4 from Mata, my good friend. He's the shipper of Sam.
Yeah.
So, and my shipper actually. So I need to do the in between, and I think that Morris hard edge all the way. I think it's the thing worth trying.
It's super interesting.
What size Big Baron did you order?
I had my comeback board, so it's a soft top Big Baron that JS has put in the market. So I said I'm gonna buy it and use it, and then put it at the surf school once I'm good, you know. And then I'm going with the same model on a 6-4 or 6-8 once Hervé receives the new batch, the new containers.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be full resin performance Big Baron 6-4 or 6-8.
I think I'm going to go and see him too, because I had a few friends in Australia that had them too, and they said they were really, really fun.
Yeah.
And I saw Jeremy was like ripping on
so
last year, wasn't he?
Yeah.
That's Fipsy made me. So I've got a good friend here who's got a 6-8 Big Baron, and the Fipsy not quite right twin that he made me, the channel, it's got like the small channels in the bottom, but twin fin is very, very close. Like both are really fun, like really good. That for mid lengths, they've actually got a decent rail edge on them, so you can still like push them like more than.
That's good. You know, that's so good. I'm super excited that those guys came up with those kind of boards. You know, wow, it's exciting.
You know who's got a really good twin as well, and it's not even on the market because did you see my Instagram, Matt?
Bradley.
Yeah, Bradley just shaped me a 6'5.5".
Oh,
because he had the 6'9" and he lent it to me in, I think it was January before I went to Australia, and it's like I struggled a lot actually with twins because I just couldn't work out how to pump them to get speed, whereas I really like quads, and he lent me that, and that's sick. So I'll try and give you a go if I see you this summer.
right. And there's also Rob Vaughan has really good twins. He's been developing a lot of twins.
Rob's twin pin reminds me a lot of the Morris 6-7 I've been surfing, and good news for you, Daz, and for you, Didier, because I'm happily able to extend the offer. But I'm going to be down in September with most of my boards, and I'll bring both my asymmetrical albums for you to swing about.
Oh, yeah, I'll bring Matt down to say hello at the cabin. Didier, he's really linked up with album surfboards.
Right. Yeah, but also that's the brand that Hervé does. I think he does.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Is that the guy at Surf Lounge?
Yes.
Yeah. So I've got.
But when do you come? Because in September there's all that the WSL just put the marathon tour for us.
Oh, really?
There's 8 events in a row or 7 events in a row. 7 weeks where we go Portugal, France, Spain, Portugal, France. It's like
And France, what sort of events did we get?
now we got Anglet Pro 3000.
Yeah.
Then we got Lacano Pro,
Yeah.
the 1000 in mid August. Then we got La Torche Pro Junior, and around that there's Galicia, there's Portugal, Espinho, there's Azores, the islands. So we're gonna do a lot of surf tripping,
Is that for the regional series?
regional and as well the juniors, because Sam
Yeah.
is still juniors, and I coach Tim Elter, the German that just won the first. He's actually leading the ranks.
Yeah.
Timmy, really
One in
good.
Morocco.
The best 1 meter 92 surfer in the world, I would say, in small waves. He's
He's
so good.
massive,
He's
isn't
1 meter
he?
92, but he looks like I'm over saying, but I really think he's really coordinated and good in small wave, considering his build, his size.
Yeah.
192. Can you believe it?
I think if everything, in back to your question, I think if everything goes to plan, which it will, I'm going to be confident, then I'm going to be in France for like easily a month, if not,
Right.
if not
So
2 or
October
3.
should be cool. And I'll still have the cabin if you want to set up there if the waves are good there, and
Yeah.
let's do it.
So your like immediate plans are you're about to leave. When do you leave to El Salvador?
I leave Friday to El Salvador for the whole event, and then I'm back here in June 9.
And then it's every day on the beach.
I'm gonna be surfing. Back to surfing. I will have a few missions to do with German Federation in terms of we have a course for the surf coaches course. So I'm gonna be involved in doing lessons and a little bit of lectures to the soon to be coaches of the federation. It's a level 2 coaching thing. So I'm super excited actually to be a coach now of coaches, to pass on some things. It's super exciting as well in my pathway, and then I'll have time to surf. Yeah, I'm super excited. And then as soon as 3rd of July, it's nonstop season. You know the season is here. A lot of people on holidays. It's nonstop. So if I get a few sessions in, it will be June for sure, without crowds. Hopefully
we'll be able to surf the Munich wave together, because pure surf camps are doing the surf school in there.
That's true. Wow, it's gonna be epic.
So I've heard about
it, but so more next year, next spring probably.
Yeah, I can't see a project that big actually being finished early.
No.
If anyone's going to finish it early, it'll be the Germans.
They would have, but there was the war. I'm sure they would have finished on time, like if there was no wars or no outside things outside of their controls,
Hey, so a couple of things before we let you go. I just want to have who's your top 5, do you think, for trestles? Who's going to be top 5? Put you on the spot.
Gabriel, he's coming back, and you don't stop a train that's getting his momentum, He's that sort of guy. I would say Felipe. Jack, if he comes back, because there's barrel waves coming up, he's so good in barrels. I don't see it anyway. So that's 3 already, huh? That's 3.
Yeah.
Jack, Gabriel, Felipe, Griff.
Joe Chang is world number 1 at the moment.
And then there's maybe that dude, that Brazilian dude. But I would say watch out, Italo. I was actually watching Stab in the Dark. How good is that?
He's
good.
And he's actually super kind of funny and likable when you hear him going Brazilian, isn't he?
Yeah. He's perfect.
I think that's a super interesting top 5, because that's No John, no Italo, or maybe Italo. Then if you're picking Italo, no Jalchanka, no Ethan Ewing. It's so stacked at the moment.
Actually, I would put John in front of Italo because he had a better start, and he's gonna manage Chopo. He's gonna manage J-Bay. I would say maybe Italo misses out this year. We'll see. It's between the last spot would be for me between Italo and Griff.
I think I'll go and say I think Italo's getting nowhere near it. I think he's too far away already. He's 60.
Yeah, it's gonna have a hard challenge, yeah.
But just with the back end of the tour, he's not great in the pool because he's not great at going both ways. And then it's like J-Bay's not ideal for him, even though he done well last year. El Salvador again at Punta Roca, it's a right rather than a left. And
be careful, he grew up on the right.
Yeah,
right where he serves, he could be deadly.
Italo could make the final in the next 5 events. I'll never write him off, even though I think he's coming from a fair way down. That's his only thing. But I've never lost. It's not like he's not my favorite surfer, but I've never lost any confidence that he can still win.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think the problem this year especially is Gabby's fit at the moment. John's still fit at the moment, not injured. Zhao Chang has gone off to a flyer. Felipe's just crazy consistent. Griff's found more consistency. Ethan Ewing's consistent, so it's not like there's a spot he's got to go and take it off someone rather than just make it, which is,
and
I think it's gonna be hard.
That's true. And also the judging, I've noted
100%.
Always try to analyze and be one step ahead in the way the judges, what they want. And it was amazing how they were judging the sharpness of the rail game because of Ethan Ewing at Bells. And I thought they were even overscoring him sometimes, but you know what they want. It's not a question of overscoring or not, but you know what they want or not now.
Yeah.
And I think it might not serve as much Italo when it comes to, if he does those airs. For example, when he did that air on the left at Margie's, I was giving him 1 point more for sure.
Yeah.
That big frontside air. And then the judges decided it would be a 6, just a good air. But I thought it was an excellent air for me, or close to excellent. And, the perfect. So I'm amazed how the judging is going back a bit as well because of some surfers at the comparison and its forces.
Do you think Ethan Ewing has kind of set a new benchmark in surfing because of the power and accuracy and speed he does his turns?
He's super sharp, and in the sharpness of his rail game, you have to acknowledge that. If I was coaching him, I would tell him, "Hey man, start doing different stuff." I'm not writing him off actually, but he has. I think he doesn't explore all his possibilities. To tell you the truth, because this guy, for me, he could even be deadly in other fields, and it seems like I don't want to say. I was actually. Why did the Brazilians get the supremacy over the Australians over the years? Because there's that thing in the back of the mind of the Australians where it's more competition. When the Brazilians are super competitive, but they still they don't care about going for a 10. They don't care about losing by going big for it. And there's more that. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong, Daz. But
it's exactly that.
Competition follows too much the riders since they're 12. The board riders thing is so good because they have no pressure. But at the end, they have a competitive mind that says, okay, maybe all the beats on that air, all the beats here, and then the Brazilian don't hold anything. And that's why they come to tops. And I think Ethan has got that. He holds a bit, I would say.
I completely agree.
Holding if he wants to be in the top 5 and destroy those guys, He could win the top 5, but he would have to have a super lucky star and a super good karma to go all the way and dodge all the bullets from those guys.
I think is exactly what you say. Is the way that they're trained in Australia to win those comps from such a young age. They're it takes away their kind of creativity a bit.
Of course. For me, the example is Julian Wilson, his
Yeah.
videos, and when he was trying to get the title against the Brazilians, he was surfing like a competitor. He was not the guy of the videos, and only time he won is because he did those video game surf at Estaño. Remember when he won in France?
Yeah,
He let go, and he started doing tens, full rotations, Brazilian style. But all other events, he was doing compromise, and that's why he didn't get the title for me. When Medina and Italo, they were always ready to put a 10 at any event, any time. The mindset was different.
Do you think that Felipe's kind of got a blend of both? Because I think sometimes Felipe's rail game's not spoken about enough. He is so good on a rail, but he also has the Hail Mary huge.
He's got both, yeah. Yeah,
Do you
and
think
he didn't even have to use it too much at dressers, but he's got both, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think even though I haven't seen him do frontside airs like I've seen Italo or Medina when they decide to do those big frontside backflips or whatever, but backside is pretty amazing. I mean, he does huge backside airs. Huh?
Yeah.
I mean,
do you think anyone apart from Medina can stop Toledo at 4-foot trestles?
Italo could, but
Griffin.
Griff yeah, but he's got to get there, doesn't
it'd be exciting to see Griff if he qualifies. But Griff, wow, it's a tough one, huh? Depends on the waves, but Griff will be super confident and will show a lot of variety. I'm sure the judges, it's once again the forces, you know, what the guy proposed, what the other guys propose, and the judges gonna have to make a decision. So he's gonna, I would say, the guy that wants to beat Medina is gonna have to take some things and propose things to counter. You understand, like what I'm saying, like what I'm trying to say. Propose a counter proposition that the judge buy into.
So another thing we do in our podcast, Didier, is we have this section where we say do's and don'ts. So I'll give you an example. I'll do the do, and Matthew's got to think up a don't. I went for a surf today where I just before I left the house, I turned my wetsuit inside out and thought, oh, it's really onshore. I'm not going to surf today. So I didn't take my wetsuit. And then I was at the coffee shop, and then Fipsy rang me and he said, oh, there's a bit of a good left. I'm not going to tell you where it is.
I know.
it ended up not being good. And I've gone to my car and I didn't have my wetsuit. And then I saw I actually had this new one that Quicksilver gave me, a short arm. And I ran a short arm 2-2, which obviously we haven't worn yet. So my do is always have a dry, appropriate wetsuit in your car. Always.
Right.
In case and board.
Okay. My don't might not be relatable as such to you two, but I'm hearing it more and more, and my don't is don't call your local, don't call the wave pool your local. So I hear it more and more people in certain parts of the world where they say, oh, my local is the wave pool. No, it's not. It's just the don't do people. It. Yeah, you haven't got a local. If your wave pool's your local, you haven't got a local.
Right. Okay.
So now's your chance. You got to give us a do and a don't. Maybe even if it's just from this week.
Obviously, well, I haven't surfed in a long time, but a do is to I don't have anything that comes to my mind, man. Sorry.
Start with
don't. I would say a don't ever mention a spot, like if you score or something like that, but you know that, like you just said it, you didn't tell me the left, even though everybody knows where the left is, but I always try to give the hints that it's another spot, you know, that's the next level, but
that's what I do actually.
Yeah, like that's for sure. Do do stay curious, I would say. Do stay curious.
I
That
like
comes
it.
to my mind.
Especially with surfboards, is what you're doing at
Yeah,
the
do
moment.
stay curious with surfboards and with everything, and stay flexible, stay flexible in your mind, in your body, but in your mind as well, like the flexibility. We talk a lot about that in the German. We know the cognitive flexibility, the ability to have the plasticity to just absorb any change, to get any opportunity coming from all those changes that we face in surfing. So that's what I would say. It's a good do adapt, do stay flexible, do stay plastic, not the plastic waste, but do get the plasticity to always have the open mind and the readiness for
Yeah.
what's coming to you. And I think it's what surfing is all about. I don't know if I went too deep there, boys, but
No, I like that.
that's what I'm into right now.
Cool.
I'm into that right now. Yeah.
We've got it on tape, so I'm going to have to re-listen to it so that I understand it correctly. Huh? But
Look in the
you.
dictionary, plasticity. It's
Yeah.
funny when you look plasticity in the dictionary, what it says, and look it as a surfer, and you say, "Oh, wow, okay," and you get your mind more into looking at the
yeah. If you say this,
get yourself an appointment with that therapist at your rehabilitation center. Trust me, if you want to be curious,
I want.
that
Since
will
you
be a
told me
big
about
help.
that, I really want to go, but I'm leaving Friday, so I don't know if she'll give me an appointment that early. Can we postpone the appointment for later?
I might be able to.
Yes.
I'll ask if
tomorrow. I'm going to ask one tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much, mate.
Thank you.
It's incredible to have you on, and good luck, huh?
Yes, luck doesn't exist, man. It's just awareness, preparation, provoking luck, or racing from her. But we will provoke luck. So thank you.
We'll have a good execution of your plan then.
Yeah, we'll go well.
But the plan is no plan. The plan comes at the last second, as I said. It's about feeling the moment. So there's actually a plan, but the plan can always change in a moment, and that's where we're the plasticity comes in, and we're super all tuned into that. So we'll try to get the luck on our side.
That's really cool. And yeah, I mean, I just hope the boys at Team GB, well, the Team GB team, boys and girls, their boards have been lost, so they haven't had a good start.
That's a good start for the Germans then.
Who did they take in the team? Because there's that kid. He's amazing. I mean, he's maybe too young, but he's the next Russell Winter, like in terms of
he's the next European.
Going to the CT. This kid for me is going to the CT.
Yeah. I don't know why.
I love this kid.
I don't know why Lucas isn't going. I'm not sure why Lucas.
No, he's too young, but it's probably good that he doesn't go that young. But
yeah.
So yeah. Actually, my colleague that was working for the German Federation, Lou, is working with the British now. So let's see how it goes.
Oh, nice.
They all stayed at the house the other week, Didier. So I got to actually hang out with Lucas for a fair bit, and I saw Jan there as well. I was going to ask you what you thought, but he definitely looks like one of Europe's next big hopes, doesn't he?
Who's that?
Lucas Skinner.
Oh my God, he's for me the way he surfs. Do you know what I mentioned? The Brazilians don't care about boosting and stuff like that. They go there and they go for it. He's got that. He's at the Pro Junior recently. He just did a big I7 or even 8-point ride just on one turn, and then he's got that freedom to go for it. He's not calculating. He's not. And at this age, to be in his mind like that, I mean, it's really good. And I know the dad is a super dad, so he's got a lot of good love from his family. So I really believe in him.
I think you've just made Matt's week, because you've just given a huge compliment to a British surfer. He's very happy, aren't you, Matt?
For sure.
Yeah.
Especially like I know Lucas personally. He's like the sickest kid. I know Ben really, really well. I love Ben, and even his little sister, Lucas's little sister's serious.
Yeah, I was supposed to coach her as well, but because I coached when he was younger, they came to Osogor, and we had a great experience. But yeah, she's good. She serves good.
She's a serious talent. Yeah, she's
All
real
right.
good as well. So, and Lucas just shot up really. His hands are ginormous as well. So I don't know if that's anything to do with it. But thanks
Well,
so much for your time.
thanks very much, mate.
All right. Thank you.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.